Hi, this is Richard C. I'm a math tutor here at Wyzant, answering a question submitted by a student. The student has indicated this is a question from calculus, but really this is an Algebra 2 question, and we're just going to run through this. They want the domain and range of the domain only, the domain of f of x, g of x, and also f of g of x, which is the composite. And we'll run through each one of those. For me, domain and range really are best done by doing a sketch. And that's pretty much what's being suggested here. So let's just take a look. So part A, f of x is equal to 2 over absolute x. Now this is going to be undefined when x is 0, because the denominator is 0 only when x is 0. So the domain here is going to be x not equal to 0, but they want the range. Oh, let me show you the graph first. And it's going to look like this because it's absolute x. So instead of getting a hyperbola in the usual location, we've got this on the left. The left arm here is going straight up, and this is actually a vertical asymptote here, like that. So the range is so the domain is negative infinity up to 0, union 0 to infinity. So 0 is excluded by using this these round brackets. We might as well do the range. The range here is y is greater than 0. So it would be 0, comma, positive infinity if they wanted range, which they don't. Okay, so b, g of x is equal to x minus 9. Well, that's just a straight line. So here's x minus 9 here. So there's a 9 is the negative 9 is the y-intercept. So it's all real numbers. So, and the range would also be all real numbers. Domain and range. I prefer using these ways of indicating domain and range. It's shorter, less difficult to write it out. But the teacher's asking for interval notation, so we'll give them what they want. And so part C here, we have to look at f of g of x. That open circle up here that indicates a composite. That does not mean multiplication. If they wanted you to multiply, the circle would be filled. So this is f of g of x. Now this is x minus 9. And so now we apply the f rule. The f rule says whatever you give me, x is what you're giving me, I'm going to divide you by 2 and take the absolute value. So it's going to be 2 over absolute x minus 9. Now if you compare the function in part A with the function in part B, you can see that this is a horizontal shift to the right by 9. And so you're just gonna, what you're gonna do is you're gonna move this was part A here, it's going to be the same graph. It's just going to be shifted over 9 units. Here's x equals 9. Okay, so I'm not using a grapher. I'm just using a sketch. But it is good to have a sketch when you're doing domain and range. I'm not comfortable doing it any other way. So the domain would be here is just x can't be 9. And you can see the range here is going to be the same as the parent function. It's just going to be y is greater than 0. In interval notation, this would be, let's see, negative infinity to 9, union 9 to infinity. And then this would be negative infinity to 0. Oops, sorry. Oh, where my mind was going there. Zero to infinity here. Okay, so we've answered all the questions, all the parts. This is pure Algebra 2. If you're having trouble with any of this, either graphing it or understanding domain and range or whatever, or even doing a composite, and if in fact the student is taking calculus, my advice would be to work a little harder and try to step up your game a bit, because this is really just introductory stuff. And typically calculus courses are going to assume that you know all of this. So you might want to just put a little bit more time, set a little more time in your schedule aside for math this year. Okay, so that's it for this question. I hope that was helpful. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.